Are interrupting the show for a special report.
Because now it is time for Bag Lab.
All right, for tonight's Bag Lab, I wanted to discuss two different types of slip pockets. I'm going to be sewing both of them on camera, so I'm going to have Danny switch to the overhead camera. Okay, so the first type of slip pocket, which I'm going to talk about, is just a simple little rectangle slip pocket. So you can make the slip pockets any size that you'd like. I decided to cut my pieces 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches so I can make a cell phone pocket. And I also went ahead and I wanted to demonstrate two different ways to apply the interfacing on these slip pockets. So I went ahead and applied the interfacing. As you can see, this is Pellon Shape Flex, but it's cut smaller than the fabric. So I cut it 3/4 of an inch smaller than my fabric piece. So my fabric piece is 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and the Shape Flex is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. So I went ahead and cut two of those pieces out. I'm going to go ahead and start by placing them right sides together, and I'm going to add some Wonder Clips along the edges to hold the layers in place. So I'm going to be sewing this using my regular stitch length. I'm going to start sewing at this corner at least 1 inch in from the side edge, and then I'm going to stop sewing about the same amount in from the finishing side. I'm going to leave an opening centered along the top edge for turning everything right side out. Okay, now I'm going to clip the corners, which is cutting on a diagonal without cutting into the stitches. This just helps reduce the bulk a little bit in the corners. And I'm going to turn this piece right side out and press. And I like to use a turning tool to gently push out the corners. So in this instance, I'm going to use the precision turning tool. It has sort of a rounded ball over here so it doesn't kind of poke or puncture through the corners. And I also like to drag it across the straight edge too. Just pushes the seam out for me a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to use my fingers to push the opening toward the wrong side by the seam allowance, which was 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to give this piece a press. Okay, I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch the top edge down using 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and I'm going to slightly increase my stitch length for this top stitching to 3 millimeters. Okay, so now you'll want to take out the piece that you're stitching this pocket to, and Danny's going to zoom out just a tiny little bit so we can get this whole piece in the view. Okay, so I'm using this piece from my Easy Leather Hobo Bag pattern. So I've already attached my fabric to the interfacing. For this bag, I'm using foam interfacing. So if you want the pocket on the outside, this is my exterior piece. That's where you'll be attaching it. If you prefer it on the lining, which in a lot of cases the pockets are in the lining, you'll attach it to your lining fabric instead. Okay, so I'm going to use my paper pattern piece to help me center the pocket fabric, and I'm going to use my ruler to make sure that the bottom edge is straight as well. So I'm going to take this back over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch the sides and the bottom, again, 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the fabric. Okay, so that's what that looks like. An extra tip, if you happen to have a rivet press or some Chicago screws around, you can also add a rivet into each corner. I just measured 1/4 of an inch in and 1/4 of an inch down and made a mark, and that's where I installed the rivets, and that just helps give some extra stability, especially if you're putting things in and out. Even though you backstitched the rivets, just help with some stability there. Okay, so that was a slip pocket cut as a rectangle, but I also wanted to talk about a slip pocket that's the length or the size of the pattern piece. So here's my pattern piece, and for this I just arbitrarily decided that I wanted my pocket to be cut at 6 inches tall. So I took my ruler and just drew a line 6 inches up from the bottom edge. And then I folded the pattern piece at the line, and I used this pattern piece to cut out 2 pieces from fabric and interfacing. And for this example, I cut the interfacing the same size as the fabric. That other piece, the interfacing was cut smaller, so it just depends on your preference or what kind of bulk you'd like to deal with for the pocket piece. So for this slip pocket, because it's the entire length of the fabric piece that we're sewing it to, it gives more options, such as sewing different dividers, and again, you can use rivets with that as well. So for this piece, we're just going to be placing right sides together along the top edge, and then I'm just going to sew this top edge using my regular stitch length and 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, next you'll want to press the seam open, and then we'll be pressing wrong sides together. Okay, for this top stitching, I'm going to increase to 3mm stitch length, and instead of just sewing the top, I'm going to sew the entire outer edge 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the fabric. Okay, so now I'm going to add it to my fabric piece. And especially because the whole bottom and sides are round, I'm going to take my ruler and just make sure that it's straight. Okay, so I'm going to sew the sides and the bottom 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the fabric, and also I'm going to add some divisions in this pocket just so it's not one huge pocket. So you can add whatever increments you prefer. I'll add 2 lines of stitching for this. And then I also wanted to know, while I'm sewing this, I'm going to sew the sides and the bottom first, and then I'm going to sew directly on top of the lines. And I always like to sew from the raw edge up toward the pocket, just because I feel like it better evenly distributes the fabric. Sometimes if you start here and it shifts your fabric over, then the fabric's the pocket fabric's gone off the edge of the main fabric. So that's why I like to start stitching the pockets starting with the bottom. And I'm going to increase my stitch length for this top stitching to 3 millimeters. And if you'd like to, if you have rivets, you can also install them. I would suggest installing them kind of staggered off your top stitching. So for instance, I might contemplate adding them, for instance, here. So I'll get a couple of the rivets installed on camera. I've got my rivet press here. I like the tabletop press. I've got my hole punch die on first, so I'm going to make holes where the 2 markings are, and then I'm going to swap out for my die that installs the rivets. So I always like to have a scrap of fabric on this plate over here, because as you can see, sometimes I didn't, and it kind of made a marking in the metal. Okay, so now I'm going to swap out this die for the rivet setting one. And this press is originally from Minkus Margot on Etsy. And Cam Snaps is also another source for rivet presses and dies. All right, so now I'm going to install 2 rivets there. Honestly, in hindsight, I probably would have put them a little bit further apart, but since I've got holes already made, I'll just go ahead and get these finished. So let me know in the comments if you like using rivets to finish off the tops of your pockets. Oh, that's not too bad. That's what that looks like. Honestly, I don't know how much further I would have placed them apart. Maybe a 1/2 inch away from each line on either side, but honestly, that doesn't look too bad. So here's the 2 different types of pockets. This suggestion for this particular Bag Lab came from an email request. So if you ever have any requests for other Bag Lab demonstrations that I can do in the future, feel free to email me anytime. My email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and Danny's put that up on the screen as well. I would say majority of the Bag Lab demonstrations that I provide on the show are actually from requests or questions that I've gotten on social media. So I appreciate you, and thank you so much.